Hi. So what is your IPI score, or the Inventory Performance Index? Recently, Amazon introduced a lot of changes to FBA storage rules. So that's how much products you can store in Amazon itself, both standard size and also oversized products. And the way that they decided to measure how much you can actually store is based on your score. And what this is a score from 0 to 1,000 based on several different factors. And if you have a very low score, then your storage limits get reduced and reduced and reduced. And if you're storing over the amount, Amazon can then fine you or charge you money. And if your score is high, then your storage limit gets expanded. It sounds simple, but there's a lot of different factors and we're going to drill into those. So how is it calculated? First of all, there's several main factors that Amazon lets you know about, and that is how much excess inventory you have, your sell-through, your stranded inventory, and your in-stock inventory levels. So we're going to cover each of these in detail. So excess inventory. This basically means if you're selling, say, 50 units a month of a product, but you have 1,000 units in stock, you've got way too much in Amazon. So Amazon want you to keep stock levels down. And based on what I found and talking with other sellers, is that the ideal is to have around 4 to 6 weeks worth of stock. So if you're selling 50 units a month, you kind of want to have around 50 to 60 units, maybe up to 75 units, which is around 6 weeks of stock in Amazon. You don't really want to go above that. Before, people could keep 3-6 months of stock on Amazon. It wasn't a problem, but now with the new way they calculate everything, it seems that everything's optimized around keeping the minimum stock. So go through your products, have a look at what's selling and what's not selling, and if a product's not selling very well and you have excess inventory, you might want to create a removal order, which we covered in another video, to bring that down. And it's important that you keep your IPI score high, because imagine you have a really good selling product and your IPI score is low and Amazon restricts how much stock you can have. It doesn't matter that you've got one good selling product and 9 products that don't sell so well. If you've reached your storage limit, you can't restock any of your products, the good selling one or the bad selling ones. So Amazon gives you one limit across all products. So you have to keep the bad selling products stock levels really down so that you don't get to a position where you can't restock good selling products. So FBA sell-through, what does this mean? It's basically a calculation on how many units you're selling versus how much stock you have. If at any one time your average stock is 100 units and you're selling 50 a month, then your sell-through is basically the 50 over 100. So the less stock you have and the more units you sell, the higher your sell-through rate. It's a simple calculation. It's just a ratio. So if you've got enough stock for a year in Amazon and you're only selling a month's worth per month, then your ratio is going to be very low. But if you can instead replenish the stock every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, and you're keeping the stock level very low, but you're still selling well, then your sell-through rate is going to be much higher. And that's what Amazon wants. They basically don't want to be a big warehouse keeping all your stuff for you anymore. They used to do that, but now you have to find a separate warehouse to do that. And what you need to do is think of Amazon as a kind of last-minute delivery partner, in the sense that you really, as we said just before, you don't want to have much more than 4 to 6 weeks of stock in Amazon. And if you can get that lower, then that's even better. And how do you do that? So you have your supplier, 2,000 units are made at your supplier. You ship them to a third-party warehouse instead of to Amazon directly. You keep your 2,000 units there, and every time you sell through a couple of weeks worth of stock, you ship from your warehouse to Amazon. Luckily, domestic shipping charges are very low. So if you're shipping from a warehouse into Amazon, you're not paying much extra. And you can find warehouses with fees for storage that are less than Amazon itself. Yes, it has increased the administration of managing inventory. Yes, sometimes Amazon's very slow with updating the stock you've just shipped into storage for you too. So it's really a game of almost constant monitoring of inventory and keeping maximum that 4 to 6 weeks level in, ideally lower, and replenishing your stock every couple of weeks to make sure that you don't run out. It's become a much more intensive inventory management game. So how do you increase your FBA sell-through? There's two ways. One is sell more with promotions, dropping your price a little, running coupons, driving off Amazon marketing. And the other, to improve your sell-through, is to reduce how much stock you've actually got. So if you're still selling 50 units a month, but you only ever have 25 units in stock in Amazon, then your sell-through rate automatically increases. So there's two ways to kind of game that number. The next is the standard inventory performance. And basically, this means that, for example, let's say you've had a complaint from a customer. Sometimes Amazon may pause a listing. Your listing may be out of stock, or there's other reasons why your listing for some reason is not showing on Amazon, and there can be lots and lots. Maybe you've used a keyword in your listing that Amazon's now banned. For example, mold, like plastic tool mold or cake mold, whereas before that was fine. Some sellers are saying, oh, this keyword's suddenly been banned and my listing has it, and my listing got taken off. So your inventory can get stranded because Amazon has paused the listing, restricted a listing, and that inventory is now not tied to a listing. It can also get stranded where you, for example, deleted a listing, got the stock in Amazon, and you're recreating a listing for whatever reason that is. Maybe it's to change the ASIN, maybe it's to create a bundle, but you can have stranded inventory, and the more stranded inventory you have in Amazon, then the more you get penalized. The next is the FBA in-stock rate, and what this means is, if your product's selling, that you have it in stock for customers to be able to buy it. And Amazon isn't super bad where, if you've gone out of stock for a day, but you have stock inbound and it's in FC transfer, or it's arriving in the warehouse, that it doesn't count that towards stock and then punishes you. Luckily, there is a little bit of give in that number, but ideally, you want to always hold a minimum 2 to 4 weeks of stock in Amazon, and always have backup stock at your supplier, at your warehouse, so you're not running out on Amazon. You should look at Amazon as the last section in your journey from manufacturer to customer. You want to be keeping 10-20% of your stock in Amazon, but the vast majority needs to be in a warehouse outside of Amazon, so you can react quickly to restocking. And then that way it becomes much easier to manage too. Why? Because if you see your main warehouse stock is going down, that's when you place the order to your supplier, you refill your warehouse, and Amazon is just taking small 2 to 4 week shipments from your warehouse. Every 2 to 4 weeks you're replenishing it, and then that way you're not so worried about FBA in stock rate, because all your stock's not there. You have this backup stock at a warehouse, you have a backup stock at a supplier. So why is all of this important? As we said, your score basically affects your storage limit. So if your score keeps going down and keeps going down and keeps going down, so will your storage limit. And even if you have one great selling product and one bad selling product, if you've reached that limit, you won't be able to restock anything, and it's going to get costly with fines, fees, removal orders, shipping stock back. It gets expensive. So I would say you almost want to have someone in your business, if it's just you and you're solo, that's their responsibility is to check inventory every 1 week or every 2 weeks maximum. So every Monday is what we do. We check the inventory, we check our numbers, we check the sell-through, the stranded inventory, the in-stock, the excess, and we make sure that we place purchase orders with suppliers well in advance so that our warehouse has always got stock. Not Amazon. Amazon is feeding from our warehouse, remember. So Amazon, yes, of course we have stock on Amazon. Yes, we're constantly monitoring it. But really, the key is making sure that I don't run out of stock inside the main warehouse, which is shipping every 2 weeks to Amazon. And it's better maybe to have a little bit more stock than to be understocked, because if your supplier has a delay, as we're seeing now with shipping internationally, then you could get stuck in a situation where you have no stock and you suffer, and your score suffers too. So aim for a little bit extra stock, think about seasonality, and really you can game these numbers. And the secret is to keep the absolute minimum in Amazon, and your numbers will improve automatically. So if your numbers have been bad in the past, your IPI score has been low, just aim to keep, say, 2 weeks of stock in Amazon, and constantly every week be shipping a little bit extra, 1 or 2 cartons extra, 1 or 2 cartons extra to make up for what you sold, and you'll find that your number will pick up score back over into the green zone and towards the 1,000 mark. So yeah, Number one tip there is keep your Amazon inventory low. Use a third-party warehouse. Thank you. Are you looking to grow your Amazon business? Zillionaire is the best Amazon metrics software. It has dozens of great features, including real-time profit and loss, inventory management, Amazon PPC ad optimization, custom dashboards, and much, much more. Head on over to zillionaire.com and sign up today. The link is in the description below.